Not. I don't think I have an extra one. Shall I ask her to bring a copy? Or can you? Okay, right. Okay, so we were discussing about the first four lines. Yeah. So we stopped at to bend with apples the most cottage trees, right? Yeah. Okay. So again, when you say to bend with apples, why does something bend?
The fruitfulness.
Yeah, the fruitfulness, right? So again, the richness, abundance. Yeah. So to bend with apples, the most cottage trees. Again, you know most, right? Yeah. So most, yeah. So most cottage trees. Again, beautiful visual imagery. Also, can you see that this is very much pastoral, related to agriculture, village life, very pastoral imagery. Pastoral, pastoral. Yeah. And fill all fruit with ripeness to the core, not just ripe, right? Ripeness to the core, right? To the very bean, right? To the core, they are ripe. So again, you can see the abundance of a spring, the ripeness of the season, fruitfulness. And to swell the gourd. So here, gourd means something like a type of a fruit, and also kind of a vegetable like pumpkin. Yeah, just like pumpkin, squash. To swell the gourd. And swelling means what, Reverend? Swelling? Usually, when do we swell? When a serpent bites us, we swell, right? So that means increasing in size. Yeah, that. So that happens to what? To swell with the gourd. So then these pumpkin-like fruit or the vegetable, right? That those are swelled.
Overripe.
Yeah, overripe. Yeah, so that means again abundance. To swell the gourd and plump the hazel shells. Plump means kind of like chubby, full in size, with this round shape, round, full. We even call people plump sometimes, right? Yeah, when people are kind of like, chubby and very round in shape, you can call them plump. Yes, plump the hazel shells. So all these are references to agriculture, nature's bounty, right? Bounty. So here you can see again how nature is rewarding people, and we need to remember that this was a time people were neglecting agriculture. Yeah, farming was neglected. They were going after industrialization. So he's suggesting something beautiful here, that you can go back to agriculture. That idea is there. With a sweet kernel. So kernel means, reverence, what is a kernel?
Edible part of
Yes,
nut.
very good. Edible part of a nut. Yes. So with a sweet kernel. And when you say sweet, what is the idea here? What is the imagery used? Sweet.
Fat.
Yes. What is the imagery? The type? Visual, auditory, not tactile. Tactile is, yeah, touching. Sweet. You would remember it. I know you know that. It is on the tip of your tongue, but it's not coming out. Starting with G.
G.
Yeah. G sound. What is it? Gus? Gustator. Yes, you may write it down with a sweet kernel. Gustator imagery. So you're referring to something edible with a sweet taste. Gustatory imagery. And also to set budding more. So there's more hope. More buds will be developed. So hope is also there. Not only the bounty or the abundance. And still more later flowers for the bees. Right? So as the season progresses, new flowers bloom. So there's more hope, more room to more flowers. So providing food for the bees. So flowers do provide food for the bees, right? Yeah, so that idea is also there. Later, flowers for the bees. So flowers are blooming just for the bees. So beautiful ideas, right? Yeah. Until they think warm days will never cease. What is the idea of ceasing, Reverend? Will never cease. Here, according to the context, they think that the warm days will never stop. Yeah, always there will be warm days, that idea.
They think these flowers will last.
Yeah,
forever.
last forever. That's how bees think. Until they think warm days will never cease. So when we use the word never, there's this idea of perpetual existence, right? That something is going to exist eternally. Yeah, forever. Forever, as Reverend Susita said. So until they think warm days will never cease. Here they means bees. Yes. So again, kind of like, it's not personification because bees also have kind of a life, but we can identify it as humanizing bees, because animals, we don't usually think that they think as humans. Yeah, for summer has overbrimmed. Here, means over, overfilled, right? They are clammy cells. Clammy means kind of like damp, moist, wet, that idea. So, clammy cells. So, cells of flowers. So, they are like very busy gathering nectar. They are tricked into believing summer will never end. The bees think like that summer will kind of, perpetually exist. So summer has overbrimmed their clammy cells. So it's again, when you say summer has, what is the idea here? What is the literary technique? Summer has overbrimmed. Yeah, summer is personified, right? And also humanized, Reverend. Summer has overbrimmed. Summer has someone very powerful.
Something was nature.
Yes, exactly. So nature is symbolized there, and also nature and summer as someone very powerful. It has overfilled their cells. So again shows the richness of nature, right? Yeah. And then he says, where are the songs of spring? Where are they? Because here we are not talking about spring. And why do you think he's referring to spring here?
Transition.
Yeah, kind of, Reverend, yes. And also because, spring is identified as the most beautiful season. Yeah, so he's kind of making a comparison there. Don't think about spring because autumn is beautiful as well. That idea, right? So the speaker acknowledges the absence of spring songs, right? So the songs of spring are not there. They are missing, true. And also here you can see repetition, right? Where are they? That is repeated. And as Reverend said, transience is also passage of time. Yeah. Time is also identified there. And don't you think this is a rhetorical question?
Rhetorical.
Yeah. Where are the songs of spring? Where are they? I is used as an archaic word for years. Yeah. And also it is in some kind of situations it is used with AYE, I, for years. But here he is only using AY. And here he says, even though we are missing spring songs, even though those songs are absent, even though spring is absent, think not of them. Don't worry about that, right? Don't worry about such songs. Thou hast thy music too. That means you have your own music. So, who is addressed here? Thou hast thy music too. Thou means? You, autumn, right? Yeah, so autumn is addressed. So here you can see throughout the ode, autumn is personified and humanized. Yes. While barred clouds, again you can see very beautiful visual imagery, right? Barred clouds. So clouds are like barred. Why? Because there are these two shades of pink and white in the evening sky. So it's like barred with white and pink with two different colors. So barred clouds bloom the soft dying day. Again, what can you see there, Reverend, with white barred clouds? Barred clouds are personified, right? They bloom the soft dying day. The clouds may be together with the sun, because of the sun rays, the clouds are becoming pink. Barred clouds bloom the soft dying day. And again, you can see beautiful language, right? Dying day, the day is dying, but in a very soft manner. So death is identified as something beautiful there. Maybe because Keats was also experiencing this, this moment of death. He was literally on his deathbed. Yeah. So there's this acceptance of death there. When you say soft dying day, death as something soft, not as something negative. Yeah. So again he says, touch the stubble plains with rosy hue. So hue means, reverence, here the color shade, the shade of the color, hue. So pink shade of color. So clouds are touching these plains, right? So here stubble means straw, right? Stubble plains. So again, reference to agriculture, and you can see the connection between the sky and the earth. The clouds are touching the plains, right? All this hay and straw, right? Yeah. Fields, kind of like a paddy field, right? Yeah. With rosy hue. So it's like this gentle beauty of autumn evening. Very gentle. Then in a wailful choir. So wailful means sorrowful. Yes. Saddening. Wailful. You are wailing. That idea. The small gnats moan. You know gnats, right? Let me show you a gnat.
Small fly.
Yeah.
Kind of small fly.
Yes. Kind of like a fly, like this, right? Yeah. So these are very insignificant creatures according to the perspective of the others, right? But Keats is giving them importance, you can see. Small gnats moan. They are mourning. Mourning means, again, like weeping. Yeah. Much more than crying, more like weeping, right? Yeah. So again, natural songs. Wailful cry the small gnats moan. Among the river sallows. Here sallows means willows. Yeah, willows. Sallows means willows. Borne aloft, right? So you can see again, these gnats are humanized. They hum in the air near these willows by the river. Again, a very beautiful, well picturesque description of nature of this autumn evening. Or sinking as the light wind lives or dies. Again, a reference to death, because he was not sure whether he would be able to live or die, right? That idea is also there. That is also reflected by its personal ideas. So this is like their movement depends on the wind, right? Rising and falling like music. Sinking as the light wind lives or dies. So this song by gnats, right? That depends on the wind. So their music is rising and falling with this music of willows as well, because willows are identified as trees which kind of produce music, right? So there's this poem or story called Weeping Willows as well, because willows are also identified as kind of like, they produce music, they create music of their own, natural music. And then full grown lambs. Again, when you say full grown, instead of just saying lambs, what do you feel when you say full grown lambs? Yeah, again, kind of like very fluffy and all, plump and all reference, right? Again, nature's bounty, this abundance of autumn, that idea is there. Mature lambs, full grown lambs. Loud bleat from hilly bough. So again, autumn, like this very agricultural pastoral landscape, because lambs are usually found in these pastoral landscapes, right? Yeah. And also lambs are symbolic of maybe innocence. Yeah. Loud bleat from hilly bough. And then hedge crickets sing. You know crickets, right? We discussed about crickets. Yeah, a bird, Reverend. Yeah, the one who sings. Yeah. Let me show you. You know him. Yeah, you saw crickets, right? Yeah. And then hilly bound. What is meant by bound, Reverend? Bound is like this small stream, and when you say hilly bound, a stream coming from the hill. Again, natural imagery, hilly bound. So these lambs are near these streams, and usually lambs are found in these hilly areas amidst hills. So hedge crickets sing. So here sing, and usually when we refer to the sound of or the singing of birds, how do we refer to it, Reverence? What is the word that we usually use? Chirp. Very good. Chirp. Chirp is the word that we use. But here, what is the word used? Sing. That means, yeah, humanized, Reverence, right? Yeah. With animals, better to use the word humanize. Yeah. And now with treble soft. Treble means 3 times. Treble. So they are singing like 3 times. They are making the sound thrice, that idea. And also soft treble. A soft song. Not very kind of, rough and all. Very soft. So it kind of talks about this autumn soundscape. Just like landscape reference, we can say soundscape. Right? Yeah. Kind of acoustic environment. And then the redbreast. Redbreast is robin. Yeah, the bird robin. Redbreast, because it has a red breast, it is identified as redbreast, and we say red-breasted robin as well. And again, robin is this very cute little bird. Whistles from a garden croft. So this redbreast is also singing its soft tune. And like as you can see, trebles of 3 times. So adding more color, adding more sound to this soundscape, right? Yeah. And what are these references as in imagery? Auditory, yes, auditory imagery. And gathering swallows twitter in the sky. So they are gathered, right? And here twitter means they are ready to migrate. Very good. They are ready to migrate. Yes. So these are preparing to migrate. So again, that suggests what? Yeah, change of season. Very good. Yes. Approach of what? What is the next season after autumn?
Spring.
Winter. Yeah, winter is coming, right? Yeah. So winter is approaching, change of season. And again, winter is symbolic of what, Reverend? Yeah, coldness, and coldness can aggravate what? Given the condition of the poet, his health and all. Yeah, can be symbolic of death, right? Yeah, maybe he's thinking that my time has come. Yeah, that idea is also there. So you can relate to it. When you do your presentation, you can refer to his personal life as well. You are looking at Reverend Susita, now everything is finalized. He's not ready, it seems. Okay, right. So, any questions about auto autumn reverence? You know what is meant by croft, right? Again, it's like this pastoral land given for farms, right? Yeah. So throughout you can find agricultural imagery. No questions, Reverend. Okay. Then we will move to Reverend Susita. Okay. Then we will move to Ode to Psyche. Yeah. So again, as the name itself suggests, you can see that this is not something external like what we discussed so far. This is about the internal movements, right? Yeah, Psyche. So this is very unique among his odes because it focuses on poet's own imaginative engagement rather than something external, kind of an internal business, inside business, right? Yeah. So addressing Psyche. So Psyche is this Greek goddess of the soul, right? Yeah. So soul is something kind of, inside us. So he seeks to build a sanctuary. We discussed about the word sanctuary. Can you remember? Yeah. Yeah. So it's like Reverend kind of a rescue place. Yeah, a safe place, kind of like a safe haven. There's this beautiful novel, kind of a modern novel. So I'm telling you something additional by Nicholas Sparks. So he has written this book called The Safe Haven. Yeah, nice book. A very modern kind of a romantic story. But again, there's that idea, not heaven but heaven. Yeah, this rescue place for her within his own mind. So for this goddess, but again, when you refer to the goddess of soul, it can be symbolic of our own soul, right? So it's like our body should be a rescue place or a sanctuary for our own soul, something like that, right? Yeah, kind of like a purifying idea. That's why I told you that you can relate these to Buddhism. Yeah, very much related. Yes. Even though, that again you can bring out all these contrasting points, because Buddhism has this idea of anatma, right? That there's no soul. But again, it refers to the purification of mind as well. So here, not literally the soul, but he's discussing about the mind as well, right? Yeah. So this poem reflects Keats' romantic ideals and also his power of poetic creation and also his devotion to beauty. I told you that he always discusses about this idea of beauty. A thing of beauty is joy forever. He always equates beauty and joy. He finds this similarity. He draws this similarity most of the time. And the transcendental nature of art and imagination. So that means the ability of kind of, going beyond the physical boundaries, transcending, the ability of surpassing something, right? Yeah, okay. So here, this is like the second or the third stanza. So he starts this stanza with this addressing, "O brightest." So who is this brightest? Yeah, the goddess of the soul. "O brightest, though too late for antique vows," right? So he addresses the goddess and says, though she appeared too late in history for traditional worship. Because there was a time where people worshipped all these natural objects. Can be the sun, can be the ocean. So who is the god of ocean?
Varun.
Yeah, in Asian culture, right? Yeah, in this Greek culture. So you can again compare and contrast these different concepts of gods. You have Varuna there, right, and all these other gods, and here the god who is kind of I would say controlling the ocean was Poseidon. Yeah, Poseidon. So likewise, there were different gods and goddesses. For love, it was, the famous one, the goddess of love in Greek culture. No, she's a queen in Rome. Greek goddess, the famous one, starting with Venus. Yeah, Venus, right? So likewise, there are all these famous gods and goddesses, and also the father of all the gods and goddesses, and the famous one. No, Zeus. Yes, Zeus. Yes, Zeus. Yeah.
E-R-O-S.
Yeah, starting with Z, Reverend. It's not here. Yeah, I'm just referring to. Yes, but this is not that one, Reverend, right? So Zeus means the most famous one, like the father of all, the ruler. Just like we have Sakra, right? Yeah, like him. So they had all these, and also, yeah, yes, Reverend, yes, like Shiva, right? Yeah. So with the third eye, yeah. So all these ideals are there. Yes. So that's why I told you can do a comparison. So that makes me think of your research. What is happening with your research, Reverends? You are still discussing about it. Okay, so once you kind of finalize it, not finalize, if you want any help from me, let me know, right? About the research. You wanted to write for the journal, I guess, yeah. So you can do kind of a co-authored one. Yeah. Go individual, 3 papers.
But we have no idea
How to start, right.
Structure.
Right, okay, then we will discuss, Reverends. Maybe if we are able to finish this today, we will discuss, right? Yeah, about the introduction, how to come up with the research question, and then methodology. We have to do a literature review as well. Yeah. Literature review means not kind of, like an analysis of literature, but you are looking at the previous studies done on the same topic. Yeah, something like that. So do you have JSTOR accounts now? As in you can just log into JSTOR by using your Google account. Yeah, so I will send you the link. You can just access the website, and then you can find several articles there. And also there's this website called ResearchGate. Yeah, and also Academia is there. And then you have Google Scholar. Again, you can log in via your Google account. You don't have to pay, right? Just free articles. And JSTOR is like this treasure because you have 100 free articles per month. You can read 100 articles. Yeah. So then that would be, as in not all the articles are available, but most of them are available. So likewise you can identify them, and then you have to come up with this results section, and then discussion. Results and discussion can be combined also, and then you have to write a conclusion. So we will discuss these in detail, Reverend, with reference to your topic. Yeah, then you have an idea how to write this. Yes. Okay, then back to the poem. Yeah, so she appeared too late in history, because during this Greek and Roman periods, those eras, all these gods and goddesses were worshipped with much reverence. But do you think that happened after that? Maybe after the middle period, Renaissance was there, right? And then during Renaissance, you know that how the power of church was all, you know, it was, yeah, it was kind of disrupted everything. And then this was a time where industrialization and machines and all these urbanization, all these ideals were worshipped, not goddesses or gods, right? They were not given importance at all. So again here you can say this is abundant. And can you remember the first poem that we discussed, Reverend? I don't remember, it was the first one. This Tintern Abbey, can you remember? Tintern Abbey was written by whom? Yes, very good. It was written by Wordsworth. Yeah, we discussed only 3 poets, so one of them obviously. Yeah, so can you remember Tintern Abbey? It was this abundant church. Can you remember? It was abundant. So you can see spirituality and religion, they were not considered as something important, right? Yeah. And here you can see she appeared too late for antique vows. So that means now people are not worshipping, right? Yeah. Too late for the fund believing liar, right? So here you can see Keats still kind of, you know, believes that she is worthy of worship even though she appeared late, right? Yeah. And too late. What is the kind of the idea there, Reverend? Too late. Again, in the first one, there's this phrase too late. So repetition to emphasize the fact that she was late. To fund believing lyre. Let me show you lyre. Lyre is something like this. A musical instrument. Yeah. So this was used to kind of, you know, play in front of these gods and goddesses in ancient Greece. Yeah, so this is like an antique musical instrument. So this was used in ancient times. So fund believing lyre. So now lyres are not used. They are not worshipped. When holy were the haunted forest boughs. Again, boughs, can you remember we discussed?
Main branches.
Yes, branches of trees, right? Haunted forest boughs. And even nature was considered as something worthy of worshipping back then. Even trees were worshipped. That's what meant here. Forest boughs, haunted forest boughs. And they were considered holy back then. Right? But again, even during that time, Psyche was not worshipped. Right? She was not worshipped even back then. Even during these ancient Greek times. Right? Yeah. Holy the air. Right? So air was considered holy. Water was considered holy and the fire was considered holy. So what are these reverends? Air, water and fire means? Natural objects. Very good. So those were natural objects. So even those natural objects are respected with reverence. They were worshipped back then. But even in these days, so these days here refer to? Yeah, olden times, reverence. Not modern times, but olden times. Yet even in these days, so far retired. So that's how you draw the connection. So far retired means? Yeah, kind of ancient times. Not existing now. Even in that era, she was far removed from this spiritual reverence, right? She was not respected even back then. Even in these days, so far retired from happy pieties. Pieties means piety. Yeah, kind of like religious belief and also, you know, worthy of reverence. Happy pieties, thy listened fans. So what is it? Fans means, Reverend? What is the idea of fans? Yeah? Wings, very good, yes. You can say fans. You can see how fans were developed. The word initially was what? It was, you know, a reference to these wings, just like butterfly wings. Yeah. not butterfly wings. I'm just kind of,
Keats.
making a reference. Wings of this goddess. And then here lucent means glowing, yes. Kind of, producing light. So what is the imagery used here? Lucent fans. You can picture it. Visual imagery, right? Lucent fans. Yeah. Fluttering among the faint Olympians. So who are Olympians?
Greek god.
Yes, group of deities, right? Group of gods in Greek. So there was this set of gods there. Olympians are this group of deities. And fluttering, right? Yeah, flying kind of like with a beautiful flight among the faint Olympians. And again, what can you see here, Reverend? The revival of Greek and Roman literature, right? That civilization, that culture, because he's making references to these Greek gods, Olympians, and even this one, Psyche. Revival of Greek and Roman civilization. But that doesn't mean this refers to Renaissance, right? Because during Renaissance also there was this Greek and Roman revival. But this is not Renaissance, this is much after Renaissance. That happened during 15th to 17th centuries, but this is much after that. And he says, I see and sing. So see means visual, and sing means yes, Reverend. Auditory is also there. By my own eyes inspired. So that means he was inspired by this, can be the sight of this goddess. And again, that is happening all inside his imagination. And also it can be a reference to his own imagination as well. Right? Yeah. He sees and sings about this goddess, inspired by his own vision. And also here you can see his traditional beliefs as well, as opposing to the modern times where industrialization and urbanization took place. Yeah. And let me be thy choir. So he wants to be his singer, be her singer, right? Yeah. Kind of like her perpetual worshipper. To worship her perpetually. Perpetually means eternally? Yeah, eternally. Until the end of the times. And this is very ironic because out of all the poets, Keats was not someone who was kind of destined to live longer. Yeah. His life was considered with brevity. And make a mourn here means, back then mourning was kind of identified with singing. Make a mourn means I want to sing in front of you. As in to be her perpetual worshipper. Not just the worshipper, but the perpetual worshipper. And upon the midnight hours, even during the midnight, so in night time is not a disturbance. Thy voice, right? So here thy means again, archaic language. Reference to you. Your voice, thy lute. Can you remember lute? The one that we saw right now, this one, lute. Thy lute. So reference to her musical instrument. And pipe, again a musical instrument. Yes, let me show you a pipe. All the other types of pipes are coming. Yeah, here you can see pipes, right? Yeah, so kind of like a musical instrument. Even now people use these. Thy pipe and also thy incense sweet. And when you say sweet incense, right? Yeah, what is the imagery? Yes? Yes, what is that? What are the 5 types of imagery? Tactile refers to what, Reverend?
Like, see, smell.
Referring to smell, what is that? Yes. Yes, olfactory imagery, right? Earlier it was gustatory. Yeah, reference to taste. Yeah, when you refer to the smell, yeah, that is olfactory. Incense, sweet. So usually incense is burnt when we worship someone, right? Yeah, usually use incense, just like Handunkur, Reverend. Yeah, incense with this strong smell from swinged censer teeming, right? So that means, it's like he will provide her songs, music and incense, just like all these traditional deities deserved, because he knows this one was not worshipped like that, right? So now he's worried about that. Yeah. And here censer, I will show you censer. Censer burners, I'm pretty sure that you have seen them. Something like that. These are mostly used in church. Yeah, to burn incense. Yeah, censer teeming. So teeming is like it is swamped of, right? So it's full of this smell. Full of the smell of incense from swinged. And swinging means why? Because they can be swinged. They're swinging like this. Yeah, you can use them. You can swing them. Thy shrine. Shrine means?
Holy place.
Yeah, holy place, worshipping place. Thy grove. It's like sacred grove, right? Thy oracle. And then thy heat. So all these are references to these worshipping kind of, elements, yes, symbols of worshipping. And here oracle means reverence.
Priest.
Yeah, just like, a priest, and they act as a medium. Usually priests act as a medium, between humans and gods, right? Yeah, that idea is there. Yeah, yes. Kind of like the medium. Yes. So he will create all these. So he says, I can be your voice, right? Your lute, your pipe, your incense, and also your shrine. I will make all these. I will make you a shrine, grove, and also I can be thy oracle. I can be your priest, which is like the mediator, and also heat, right? Of pale mouth, prophet dreaming. So references to all these, predictions, religious predictions. Yeah, pale mouth. And also reference to dreams. And when you say pale, right, it gives this kind of mystic idea. Yeah, the color pale. Yes. And also, yes, I will be thy priest. And again, this is like a conversation, right? This conversation between poet and the goddess. Yeah. So he kind of vows to be her priest and build a fane. Fane means? Yes, very good. A temple. Build a fane. So I will build a temple for you. Yes. And not somewhere which is kind of trodden or used by many people. In some untrodden region of my mind. You can see how beautiful were his thoughts, right? Untrodden region of my mind. He's referring to his own mind. Imagination, Reverend. So that's where he's going to build this temple. Not a physical temple. Again, you can see how beautiful it is, right? So the worshipping area is his own mind. Yeah. It's like, building a temple inside your mind. If we refer to Buddhism, something like that. So your worshipping area is inside your mind. When it is inside your mind, It's not like that, physical worshipping is important, but it is far more superior. That means mind is very pure. That is the idea. Yes. Not something physical. And also when you say untrodden, what is the idea there, Reverend? Untrodden. Can you remember this poem by Robert Frost?
Very clean.
Yeah, very clean. It's, yeah, in a way, it's not kind of, you can say it is clean as well. Yeah, because it is untrodden. It is not uncleaned by humans. On the other hand, a person can say, an untrodden path, when we refer to nature, can be dusty, can be, overtly, flooded with, I would say, leaves and all. That is true. But again, he's referring to mind, untrodden path. So as Reverend said, can be very clean, right? And also untouched. When you say untrodden, it's untouched. That part of my mind is untouched. Yes. And it becomes more and more interesting. Where branched thoughts. So thoughts are like the branches. So again, mind is kind of equated to a place with trees. Yeah. So branched thoughts, new grown with pleasant pain. And when you say pleasant pain, what is happening there? As a literary technique? Yes, yeah, you're there. Yes, starting with oxymoron. Yes, very good. Yes, oxymoron. So that means two different contrasting qualities are pitted against each other. They are put together. Plus, yes, Reverend?
Bittersweet.
Yes, bittersweet, like bittersweet. Very good. Pleasant pain. Yes. And yes, open secret. And pleasant pain, what else is there? As an auditory technique, per sound is repeated, right? Pleasant pain. What do you call it? Alliteration, yes. Alliteration. So new grown with pleasant pain. And you can see these thoughts are newly grown. And there is this pain, but it is pleasant. Yeah. And also there's this idea that sometimes you can enjoy the pain, right? That's why some people kind of, sink into depression. Sometimes depressed people, they love to enjoy that sadness. That can be very depressing, of course, right? But again, they don't want to come out of it sometimes, right? When you're experiencing a pain. Yeah, maybe kind of, like a heartbreak. People love to be indulged in that. Yeah, to write songs about the pain, like that, pleasant pain. And in a way, you can see this is like a coping mechanism, Reverence, right? The way that you're trying to cope with the pain, you try to make it pleasant. And Keats did not have much options because he was sure that he was going to die. And there was this physical pain as well. It is difficult to breathe. So obviously not a very pleasant time, but he has made this pain something pleasant by writing about it, by enjoying it in a way, right? Yeah. So branched thoughts are grown with pleasant pain. And it's like, his thoughts are like a forest. And here, instead of pines means real pine trees are replaced with ideas and inspiration. So thoughts can refer to both ideas and inspiration, right? Because he's talking about this goddess of soul, goddess of mind. And as you said, eros, like erotic love. Mostly it is about the soul. So instead of pines shall murmur in the wind, that means my thoughts are replaced with real trees, right? So this is like a forest, but there are no real trees, real pine trees. Here pines refer to pine trees, real trees. They are replaced with ideas and inspiration. And they are murmuring in the wind. Again, auditory imagery, right? Murmur in the wind. Yes. Far, far around shall those dark clustered trees. And again, you can say visual imagery, but kind of disturbing, right? When you say dark clustered, they are dark and also clustered together. Yes. Far, far around, but again, you can see that these thoughts are far from those dark clustered trees, far from negativity, right? And there's this pleasant pain. Even though it is painful, it is pleasant at the same time, simultaneously. Pleasant, yes. Fetch the wild ridged mountains steep by steep. So here, this is a reference to these long and deep mountains, the steep mountains, right? Wild ridged. Yes, so again, kind of this idea that they are very deep. Yes. And yes, Reverend. And also when you say, fledge, what is the idea? Yeah, and also kind of bringing up its feathers, that idea, right? Yeah. And again, you can say mountains are kind of personified. Yes. And thereby, Zephyrus. Zephyrus means west breeze. West breeze, Reverend. Breeze, kind of like the slow wind which is coming from the west. Yeah, west breeze. So reference to wind there, breeze. Again, nature. A collection of symbols for nature. West breeze and streams symbolize water. Yes. And birds and bees, abundance of nature, right? Yeah. Muslin, dryads. Dryads means the word dryads, forest spirits. Let me show you a dryad. Yes, kind of spirits who live in forest, Reverend. So we find them in folklore and Greek mythology. These mythical tree creatures. Yes. Not existing, of course. Right? Yeah. Dryads. Shall be lulled to sleep. Lulled means lullaby, right? Yeah. Lullaby. When mothers cradle the babies, they sing lullabies. Yeah, to make them sleep. So these dryads will be lulled to sleep. They will be put to sleep. Yes. And with what? With his song. Right? Yeah. And not only the dryads, but the breeze will, be lulled to sleep. Streams, birds and bees. So the nature will be lulled to sleep with this song. And in the midst means in the middle. Yeah, in the middle of this white quietness, right? So the quietness is very white. Yeah, tranquil, and also it's like this very serene temple, Reverend, this mental temple. Yeah, inside his mind, imaginary temple, white quietness. Then beautiful language, rosy sanctuary, right? Kind of, a very beautiful kind of a pink sanctuary will I dress. Here dress means I will create. Yeah, I will create a shrine full of beauty. Rosy sanctuary will I dress. See how beautiful are the words, right? With the wreath trials. So here trials is like, like a framework, Reverend. Yes. Yeah, kind of like a framework of what? Of a working brain, right? The presence of mind is there, brain. So we don't usually use the word brain in poems, right? We think it is not very poetic. Mind is the poetic word, but he has used brain. But again, together with all these beautiful phrases like rosy sanctuary, wild quietness, yeah. So he says that, his creativity will decorate the sanctuary of this goddess, right? My creativity, my mind will decorate this with buds, buds like flower buds, and bells like the bells, yeah, and stars without a name, literally the stars, and these are unnamed, right? So again, kind of an anonymous presence. And that even now we think that naming is very important. When we write a poem, we need to put the name when we publish it, but here all these are unnamed, you can see, right? So very selfless in a way, yeah, not referring to self. So we usually use our name, and we are hell bent on using our name because of this idea of self, right? Yeah, but here selfless, without a name. The buds are without a name, bells and stars, all these are without a name. Yeah, even though all these flowers and all these stars have names, those are human given, right? They have not named themselves, the stars. Do they self-proclaim the names? No. Yeah. With all the gardener fancy ever could feign, right? So his imagination will create new vision. So he identifies it as a gardener fancy. He is referring to himself as a gardener. I'm a gardener, right? I'm kind of, decorating your garden. That idea. Ever could feign. Who breeding flowers will never breed the same. Like a gardener who never, grows the same flower twice. Right? So a gardener usually grows the same flower twice, but here he says, if I am a gardener, if I'm decorating your garden, I'm not growing the same flower twice. That means I'm not producing the same poetic thought twice. That idea?
Every creation will be unique.
Yes, exactly, Reverend. So all of my poems, so Keats saying this, right? So all of my poems are unique. He's saying that. Yeah, Keats is saying that. You can see how beautiful is this idea. So referring to the uniqueness of his creations. As a gardener who breeds flowers, right? As a gardener will never breed the same flower twice. Also, I won't repeat the same idea. So nowadays you can see poets and writers, all of them, right? Just to publish, just to gain all these awards. Sometimes they're repeating the same thing, right? Repeating the same idea, same plot, same words. But here, right, this young man, and that is also very important, his age, he was not a very matured person even when he died, but you can see how mature were his thoughts, right? His poetic imagination. Yes. So again, reference to his uniqueness of ideas. And there shall be for thee all soft delight. So that means he will offer every joy to this goddess, right? Every joy that is known to him. Shadowy thought can win. That means shadowy thought means a reference to imagination. Shadowy thought. So it is like, I will offer you everything that I can provide you. A bright torch. So here torch means the torch that we use right now. Light. Yeah, a bright light. Yes, and then the poem ends with this image of an open window. Casement refers to a window here. Yes. And op means reference. What do you think? Op refers to? Open, yes. Open. A casement open at night. So do we usually keep windows open at night? No, right? So something unusual. So here you can see how unique were his ideas. Image of an open window. To let the warm love in. So that means the Cupid can enter. Cupid, you have seen Cupid, right? This little god of love. Let me show you. I'm pretty sure that you have seen Roman god of love. Same as the Greek goddess of love Venus, the Roman one is Cupid. Yes, this one with the bow and arrow. Yeah. Even in Asian culture that we have, when someone falls in love, he has like 5 arrows, right? Yeah. So that the idea. And again, you can see kind of a combination of Greek and Roman ideas here, Reverend, right? So this one, this Psyche is a Greek goddess, but the warm love refers to Cupid, which is a Roman god, right? Yeah. So suggestive of passion, love, and also imagination. Yes. Yeah. So the love can enter, and that's why the window is open, right? Again, you can see how beautiful is the connection. The window is open so that the Cupid can enter. Yes. Yeah. So any questions, reference? Also, you can refer to all these archaic words like o, thee, thy. How apostrophe is used with words like ever.
How do you spell this name?
Cupid, Reverend. C-U-P-I-D. Cupid.
C-U-P-I-D.
Yes. Roman god of love. And because this was a time of both Greek and Roman revival, right? So they were not specifically referring to just one tradition. Both Greek and Greek and Rome. They were referring to both. That can be confusing sometimes, but you can see the kind of the amalgamation or integration of Greek and Roman cultures. As we have 15 minutes more, if you have finalized your topic, Reverend, we can discuss kind of how to write your research paper. That day I remember you told me about some topic. You can also do kind of like a comparative analysis as well, Reverend, right? Compare and contrast two things, not just referring to one and analyzing it. Yeah, if you like, you can do that as well. Maybe looking at the hints of Buddhist philosophy in one of the poems that you have studied, something like that. I remember you mentioned something. All right, okay. That poem, analyzing that poem, Reverend, with what?
With Buddhist concept.
Okay, with Buddhist concepts. Perspective, right. Okay, so I will just write kind of this rough structure, then you can develop it, right? So for the introduction, you need to provide a very brief background, right? I'm not sure whether my handwriting will be clear. Brief background of the context, right? And also you need to discuss about the poem, right? Introduce the poem, kind of a very short introduction, and then you can refer to the Buddhist ideal that you are going to incorporate? Have you thought of something, Reverend? As in a Buddhist concept, you have to be specific there.
Circle of samsara.
Right.
Three characteristics.
Okay, right. Then first you are going to introduce the poem, and then you can say that you are going to analyze it with this Buddhist perspective. And then your Buddhist perspective or the Buddhist concept that you are using would be, let's say, circle of samsara, right? You can be specific there, otherwise, it is difficult to narrow it down when you just say the Buddhist perspective. Or if you are going to incorporate, let's say, 2 or 3 things, it would be kind of difficult, right, to kind of manage the research paper. It's not as difficult, but it will be kind of you have to incorporate a lot of things then. And also for a good research, to be a good research, you have to narrow down the topic. Use just 1 or 2 concepts. So let's say circle of samsara for the moment. So then you define this one as well, right? So maybe you can refer to Tripitaka or something, right? Kind of a source. Refer to the source, and then that's it for the introduction. And just like 1 or 2 paragraphs. And is there a word limit, Reverend? No word limit. Then fine, just 1 or 2 paragraph would be fine. Maybe you can just introduce the poem in the first paragraph and then refer to this one in the second paragraph. Or else you can just write 1 single paragraph, a long one, right? Yeah. So that is about the introduction. And then you have to come up with a research question, right? Question or questions. So as this is your first one, maybe you can just come up with 1 research question. So here maybe you can come up with something like, I'm just giving you an example. You can develop it. Is there a compatibility between the poem 7 stages, right? 7 stages and the concept of this one, right? Yeah, just writing it, right? So you can just mention it. This can be a research question that you can use, draw the comparison. And also another one would be, can the poem 7 stages be analyzed with reference to this Buddhist concept, right? I'm just mentioning the concept. I write it down. So these are like 2 research questions that you can use. You can use either this one or this one, or else you can come up with more. Maybe you can narrow this down as well, right? If you're using another poem, you can do that as well. And also you can incorporate another poem as well. You can refer to 2 poems, and then how they can be analyzed with this concept, something like that. And then after that, introduction, research question, and you have to conduct a wee bit of literature review and also objectives. So what are your objectives in conducting this research? Maybe you can say what would be your objectives instead of me saying it. Maybe to draw a comparison between Buddhism and Buddhism and in a way Christianity, yes. And also you can say Buddhism and English poetry. You can refer to this period as well, this poetic period. So for objectives, of course, you can come up with like 2 or 3 that would make your research more strong. And you have to refer to these, right? You have to kind of prove these objectives in your results section as well. So maybe an objective, I will just write this, but you can develop, you can add more objectives as also, if you want, you can do more research and find out a specific theory for this, right? This is like the main window of comparative analysis, and under that you can find out, like in feminism you can use something like intersectionality as the theoretical frame. Intersectionality means that means a woman is discriminated not only because of gender, sometimes can be due to her class or caste, right? That means intersectional discrimination due to two sections, something like that. You can come up with a theory as well, but for the moment this is also okay. You have done a comparative analysis. And have you discussed about qualitative and quantitative reference? Yeah, so this one would be a qualitative one, so you can mention that as well somewhere here. This will be a qualitative research. And how you gathered the data, right? Gathered data via, you can say, texts. Yeah, and also you can see, main texts and also research papers. Likewise, you can mention, right, all these things. So that would be enough for the methodology. And you can see how you analyze data using comparative analysis methodology, right? Yes. And after that, you can refer to literature review. So here literature review means you are referring to the previous studies. Yeah, previous studies conducted on the same topic. So here you don't have to look at all the research which are conducted comparing these two. Maybe there are no research like that, and that would be your research gap, and that is good because you need to have a research gap. You need to study the previous studies, previous research which were done on the same topic, and then identify your own research gap. So here you can refer to studies done on Shakespeare, right, and also poetry, right, and also comparing these with Buddhist concepts. So you can find them out, right? So there are some websites you can use. I will just write them here. Some people from this university have done, Reverend. No.
Last time one is that one.
Then you can refer to that research as well. Under the literature review, you can refer to it. Yes, so you can refer to that one, of course, right? That would be really great. Yeah, so these are some of the sites that you can use: JSTOR, ResearchGate, Academia, Google Scholar, right? These, so you can refer to these. I will send you that JSTOR one, and for all these websites you can plug in via your Google account, so that it is like absolutely free. Yeah, and then journal article you can refer to. Not only books, can be research papers, right? Web articles, all these things. So that is literature review. And then you have results and discussion stage. So this is different in some of the journals. Some say this is like the analysis stage, different words for results and discussion. So here you do your analysis, right? Using like 5 to 6 paragraphs maybe, right? This is not kind of, a solid one. You can just write the analysis, right? Here you can refer to different sources, right? You can quote, and also there's this theory and also rule that you can only quote up to 10%. Direct quotations can be only 10%. So 80 have to be unique, right? Your own. But if you want to refer to something, but you have already used this 10%, then you can paraphrase. Without using direct quotations like this within inverted commas, you can paraphrase, right? So that is identified with this. And you have to incorporate your own ideas, because all these will be, AI checked. All these journal articles, I know that you are not using AI for this, right? Then it is not kind of a development for you as well, an improvement. So this will be AI checked and also a plagiarism checked, right? So there are all these plagiarism checkers online. You can check your own article for plagiarism as well to see whether you have mistakenly quoted something. Yeah. So that's it. And then after that you can have, I need to let you go at 11:30, 2 minutes. So then you can at the conclusion, just like you write the conclusion of your answer scripts, you can add a short conclusion here, maybe just 1 paragraph. You don't have to make it kind of, very long. So you sum up everything here. What you discussed, yeah, conclusion. And after that you have the references. So you need to see whether what is the referencing style used here. Reference. This is for the journal here, right? Maybe I have the book. This one, language studies. No. This one, the one for the students. Yeah, but I think it is the same style. Yeah, same style. So let's see what is used here. First you need to obviously add the abstract. You know the abstract, right? Before the introduction. Yeah. So it is like a summing of everything. So you need to discuss the intro, research question, methodology, results, conclusion, all these using just like 300 to 3 and 50, right? So this would be like the word count, a very short summary of everything, right? Yeah, abstract. And then yes, with the abstract you need to add keywords as well. 5 keywords, right? That means 5 main words. That means when someone types these keywords, your article should appear. That is the idea, right? So then those main ideas, key concepts should be mentioned and they should be capitalized, right? Yeah. And then research problem, we discussed that. Research methodology, literature review. So you don't have to write this much, right? Yeah. And then here study means this results and discussion. I told you that there can be different words, can be study, can be analysis, right? Yes. So it is longer, like this you can use tables if you want. So this is kind of quantitative. This is written by Dr. Hemananthi. Tables are used like this. Don't be afraid, you don't have to write this much. Yeah. So after that, at the end you just like a book. After that you can have here findings. Findings again means results, another word, right? Don't be confused with the words. And then finally you have the conclusion, and then the cited references. So I think this is either Harvard or APA. So you need to cater to that style as well. AP, and this is very easy. So this is the best thing that you can use ChatGPT for, because there are online citation generators as well, but I usually use ChatGPT. It is very easy. When you give the command, rewrite these sources in APA7, it does a perfect job, right? It's a bad writer, good editor. ChatGPT, right? Okay, so you can do that as well. So these are like the main categories, reference. You may go through this, and if there's anything that is not clear to you, you may ask, right? Okay, you can keep this with reference.
These are not published on this.
Yes, right. This is by the faculty. If you want to have a look, I can give you this, but I don't know, this will be kind of confusing for you. Maybe I can give you something less complex, less complicated, something I wrote when I was a student. I will send you, right? This will be, can be confusing with all the Sanskrit verses and all. Yeah. And also it's very long, you don't have to write that much. Okay, your time's up now.
I was trying to read your research, but some of them are
Oh, right. Where at the academia?
not.
What is the site? In academia, I think they are available. I will send you those. JSTOR, I don't think I have published. I should do that. I don't have time to do all these. Maybe ResearchGate. I will send you anyway. Then I can send you the PDF. He's making auditory imagery because we discussed about auditory imagery today. If you are getting late, you may leave that. But if they are locked, I will definitely send you some of my research. I don't know why those are locked.